Hey guys, my name is SonicKitsune, and this is a part 2 video. Click in the description to see part 1 because annotations are no longer a thing on YouTube. And come back here when you're ready. Alright, let's go. Number 7. This is the only song in the band's discography to land on the Hot 100. I mean, it only peaked at number 92, but I'll take what I can get. Especially when it's one of their best songs. This is probably one of the few songs on this list you might already know going into this video, and I can't really blame you. It's one of their most popular tracks for a reason. That bass line combined with the dreamy synths make this song a massive earworm. It manages to be catchy while also being one of the more sinister tracks on Swoon. And hey, somebody must have liked it because this song made its way into Rocksmith, and yeah. That's probably my most played song on this game. That and I Got Mine by the Black Keys. Panic Switch captures a sense of urgency while also creating something that makes you want to bob your head. You only need to hear the song once and that bass line is permanently stuck in your head. The verses are so calm yet catchy, building up to this explosive chorus. But as much as the build in the verses is incredible, it can't beat the bridge before the solo. I'm waiting, fading, floating. You get a light tremolo that plays as Brian coos the words, "I'm waiting and fading and floating away," as if you really are drifting into another world. And then, the solo hits. It's an intense moment that makes this an unforgettable listen to me. And the fact that this was, at one point, the 92nd most popular song in America, makes me pretty happy. Number 6. Have I mentioned how much I love these guys' opening tracks yet? When I said that Neck of the Woods was essentially a horror album, I meant it. In what other context would someone be talking about the skin they're in and how it feels too ordinary? Who thinks like this? A murderer. That's who. Like with There's No Secrets this year, what makes this song for me is Chris Guanlo's drumming. While most of the guitar playing and synth work is eerie sustains, the frantic drumming during the song's verses lays on the tension as Aubert croons about discomfort and unease. It's intense, giving off a strong first impression for a very new, experimental, synth-driven direction for the band at the time. And that drumming combined with those stuttering synths? Yeah, that's how you set a mood. I was absolutely obsessed with this song in particular when Neck of the Woods first dropped in 2012. For a while, it was my idea of the ideal Silversun pickup song. It was creepy, edgy, subtle, all around insane. In my mind, the kind of thing that makes you want to keep listening, to see what the album has next up its sleeve. This is why I say these guys do opening tracks phenomenally. They know how to grab the listener's attention right from the get-go. To put their best foot forward, but also save even better tracks for later down the road. Guess you could say this skin is far from ordinary. That was stupid. Next, please. Number 5. So, let's talk about album openers I've been doing throughout this video. Kinda begs the question, how do you follow up a strong album opener? Well, in the case of Swoon, it was by cranking up the intensity and danger up to 11. We are ready for the siege. I'm not even kidding, this song pretty much immediately follows the previous track. The last bit of There's No Secrets this year is essentially a prelude to this song. Better make sure you're looking closely before you fall into your swoon. But back to the Royal We itself. This is unlike anything else Silversun Pickups has done, primarily because of its use of orchestral strings alongside their typical distorted guitars and synths. Gives this song an epic, sweeping feeling. Almost like the battle cries of the wild kind, except with more stakes. Strings are so beautiful, and rather than taking precedence over the guitars, it kind of acts as a compliment. Neither is really more important than the other, but instead they meld together so seamlessly. It's beautiful, yet dangerous. And yeah, I've described some other songs in this list as dangerous, but this is different. The tension doesn't come from the thought of there being a killer around the corner, but more in gearing up for uncertainty in battle. Overcoming personal fears and banding together to make a difference. Or you could just pretend that Ryan Albert's gearing up to play some Skyward Sword. But goofy interpretations aside, this is an example of a band using orchestral elements to set the right tone and sound. This wouldn't have worked so well with their standard arrangement of instruments. Only with violins and cellos can this sound as good as it does. And as only the second track from Swoon, it sets the stage for the album's more abrasive sounds and harsher themes, though it's also a fantastic listen on its own. After all, it got its own music video. And yeah, this was pretty much a perfect choice for a single from this album after Panic Switch and Substitution. Absolutely breathtaking. Number 4! Oh hey! Would you look at that? It's another opening track! I don't know what it is, but these guys really know how to start an album off on the right foot. I'm honestly surprised none of their opening tracks have been released as singles. I mean, I kinda get it with Skin Graft, but why not this? It's the title track from the album, kinda, and it best shows off what the album has to offer. At least a lot better than the album's actual lead-off single, Nightlight. Like with Neck of the Woods, there was a part of me that kinda doubted that this album was as good as I remembered it, but I recently listened to it again, and yeah, still holds up. It feels like a refinement of Neck of the Woods' more intense electronic sound. Guitars took more of a forefront to this album than its predecessor, and it paid off in a big way. The opening song, Cradle, best showcases this, and it's one of the best examples of these guys rocking out full blast. The guitars are so clean in their distortion and execution that they almost don't need Joe Lester's piano work, though that's always appreciated. I also love that chord progression during the chorus combined with the descending thirds. It's pure rock bliss to me. It's the kind of sound that makes you feel badass just for listening to it. It's straightforward compared to some of their other material, yeah, but that doesn't make it any less special to me. Again, I can't stress enough how perfect an album opener this is, even compared to Melatonin, There's No Secrets This Year, or Skin Graft. And I don't think I'll ever understand why this wasn't a single. Better Nature deserved better singles. I could easily see this, or even Pins and Needles, doing kinda well on alternative radio. But Circadian Rhythm and Nightlight are still pretty good, so I can't really complain. But I probably will anyway. Number 3. Obvious pick is obvious. If you know nothing else about Silversun pickups, you probably know this song, maybe? And while some fans of somewhat obscure artists might hound people who like that artist's best-known song, no, in this instance, this really is one of the best songs the band has made. It's the best song from Carnivus, for its soothing main guitar lick to its multiple small solos to just the tone and the atmosphere. This song perfectly reflects the feeling of being at a social gathering, not really being comfortable, but knowing that a special someone is there and wanting to see them. Does that sound lame to anyone? I mean, I hope not. Brian Aubert's guitar work is probably at its absolute finest here. The chords he's strumming are pretty simple yet melodic. Again, I can play these. But the way these sounds are overdubbed with the synths is just gorgeous. When you get right down to it, this is the quintessential indie rock song. This is a song that immediately springs to my mind when I hear or read the term. A song with light, twinkling guitar melodies that put me in a trance while never making me feel bored. It's soft and quiet when it needs to be, and intense at points to drive up the emotion and all around leave the listeners satisfied. What more can I say except that you've probably heard this song before, and with good reason. And if you haven't heard it before, please do that. That's kind of the point of this video, to get you to listen to music that I like. So, get on that. Number 2. This is probably the Silversun pickup song that I have listened to the most in my lifetime, and as such, it was pretty much guaranteed to have a high spot on this list. It's everything I could ever want as a fan of these guys and a fan of rock music in general, and as such, I consider it one of the most underrated songs ever. So, let's get her rolling. Right out the gate, this song knows how to get the blood pumping. That moaning in the first couple seconds of the track combined with Chris's insane drumming. Oh boy. It feels like a descent into madness, but one I fully want to take part in. I feel like I could justify putting this song on this list for those 2 seconds alone. But of course, what kind of critic would I be if I judged a song off of the first 2 seconds? Unlike the other songs on Neck of the Woods, Mean Spirits is fast-paced and energetic pretty much the entire time. And considering the previous track on the album is the very quiet, kinda repetitive Here We Are, Chancer, my least favorite song on the album, this is a welcome breath of fresh air. Other than the intro, that liquid smooth guitar lick and a drop C-sharp tuning make this song an intense, yet subtle listen. Okay, maybe not so much subtle. Really, this is the closest that Neck of the Woods gets to some sort of relief from the tension of the rest of the album. I mean, there's still some tense moments in this song, but it's less haunting and more rock. I actually don't know what the opposite of tension is supposed to be in this case. This song doesn't waste a moment, and because of what it tries to achieve, it stands out from the rest of the album in a good way. It stays true to the album's sonic experimentation while offering something new to shift the tone and energy. This album may have some great atmospheric tracks, but to me, this is the absolute best that the album has to offer. This was so close to being number 1 on this list, but it still thoroughly earned its spot at number 2. And because traditions never die, here are a few runner-ups from each album that I also recommend you give a listen. One of the more rock-centric songs on Carnivus, and one with some borderline transcendent guitar work, if I am being honest. Also, it's fun to pretend that the title of this is Well Thought Out Twinkies. Some of the best drumming in the Pickup's discography. Chris keeps up that tom rhythm like it's nothing, jeez. A pretty low-key track, but with an album like Neck of the Woods, you kinda need those in order to keep your heart from exploding. Also, the guitar riffs on this song are really cool to me. Acupuncture has never sounded this awesome. Every now and then, the Pickups have a song that's really quiet and borderline ambient. They're not usually my favorite tracks, but something about 3 Seed in particular feels perfect to me. You don't want to be held back from substitution. One of the more mainstream-friendly songs these guys have put out, but that doesn't have to mean a bad thing automatically. I remember hearing this song on the radio once, but I don't think it was ever a single. It should have been. This is intense but awesome. I brought this song up a few times in this video. Absolutely stunning. Nicky Moninger's voice may not be powerful, but it is pretty when it needs to be. Nowhere left to go. Stay with me. I know you've heard it before, but then it wasn't enough. And now, number 1. Silversun Pickups is a band that I hold near and dear to my heart. Every album from them is a unique experience, and as such, I wanted to do their discography justice. I didn't want to leave any stone unturned, but I knew from the moment that I started making this list that there could only be one song be at the top. It's a song that, to me, is memorable, well executed, and well composed. A song that, to me, represents why these guys are so special to me in the first place. And to find a song like that, we of course turn to Swoon. Luke from Rocked Reviews cited this song as an example of what a great bass line can do for a song. I don't think I could have said it better myself.
So real.
Like several other songs I've discussed over the past half hour, this song builds itself slowly. A significant chunk of this song is Nicky Moninger's mellow, earwormy bass line accompanied by a simple bass drum kick and light guitars and synths. Like I've said many times over the course of this video, it is beautiful beyond words. And around 3 minutes in, things start to change. The guitars really kick it into high gear and the bass line changes to match it. The drums spring to life. No longer is this track an ambient collection, but it is now a call to action. Brian starts to yell, and the guitars get even louder. It's all executed so perfectly that I can't help but be swept up in a euphoric wall of sound. I mean, that's the best way to describe this song. Euphoric. It's a long build to something larger. Tension builds into something truly breathtaking and incredible. This song is unlike anything else that I've ever experienced in my life. It's like pop perfection, but in rock form. Nearly everything about this song is done as flawlessly as possible, and it's just incredible. This is my standard for atmospheric music. Something that uses its atmosphere to serve a purpose in the listener's experience. And I think it goes without saying that this is one of my favorite songs of all time. And it is the best song Silversun pickups have ever made. Thanks for watching, and take care.
You got nowhere.